All right, so 2.4, like I said yesterday, we are taking the basic one-step inequalities that we just dealt with, and we are making a pretty big jump here today. Okay, this brings in all the multi-step, all the variables on both sides, all real numbers, no solution, all of that comes in today. Okay, so we learned the basics. We know everything we need to know to do this stuff. It's just a matter of remembering the stuff we learned in chapter 1 and the stuff we talked about yesterday. Okay, so it shouldn't be difficult. It's just a matter of bringing it all together. Okay, I'm going to give you 2 here. I don't want you to graph it. We're just going to solve it. Okay, for sake of time in the lesson. During the homework, you're still graphing. Okay, I might have you graph once in a while in the lesson here, but for sake of time, just solve it. All right, there's our 2. Go ahead, solve it. Showing your work, of course.
Oh, that's a 7. Oh.
It is a 7. Yeah, it's not a greater than less than. That'd be weird. 7.
Sign thing.
I don't remember what we talked about yesterday. Go ahead, talk to somebody about it. Yeah.
Do we switch? Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. Raise your hand. What's first step? Here. First step here, Tyler. Okay, subtract 7 both sides. You got y over -6 is less than 2. What's next, bro? Multiply by -6. And when I multiply by -6, what do I have to make sure I do? That sign. There we go. Y is greater than -12. Okay. Hey, even if we're not graphing, we can still check to make sure our sign is correct by plugging in a number that is greater than -12, like 0. 0 is greater than -12. If I plug in a 0, 0 plus 7 is less than 9. 7 is less than 9, so I know my sign is good. Okay, so you can still check that even if you don't have the graph. All right, the other one. You can't tell me what are we going to do here, Drew? Okay, subtract the 8 from both sides. I've got a negative 9c. You cannot forget about that negative, okay? We've forgotten that too many times this year. Don't make that mistake again. So we're here. Okay, and then what do we do? Divide by negative 9. What do we have to do when we divide by negative? Flip the sign. What is 24 over 9?
2 2/3.
Okay, we can do 2 2/3, or we can leave it improper. Just divide top and bottom by 3 and leave it as 8/3. Okay, improper fractions are completely fine. You want to put 2 2/3? Feel free.
So for the first one?
Yeah.
What if you did look on truth or lie?
It would work because 100 divided by negative 6 is going to give you a negative number. You add that negative plus 7, it's going to be smaller than 7, smaller than 9. All right. Okay, questions on those? Right, just combining concepts here, still doing what we did yesterday. Great. Let's try a couple more.
Well, these are the ones that don't get.
That's why we're practicing. Get variables together on one side.
Oh, I do that.
Variables together on one side. And then solve it.
It's no solution. It's not.
Literally no.
Hey, talk to each other, especially that second one. We know something different's happening there.
I didn't see the first one.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Hey, how about we talk about it up here and we'll figure it out. Huh? So for this one, okay, that second one, that's the one we're talking about the most here. Those 8b's are going to cancel each other out. We know that. We're left with -3 is greater than 12. If you had added the 3 over, that's fine. You're just going to have 0 is greater than 15. So the same idea. Now, is this a true statement or a false statement? False statement. And if it's false statement, what does that mean? No solution. That means there is no value that I can plug in for B to make the left side bigger than the right side. There's no value for B I can plug in to make the left bigger than the right, so it's no solution. Okay. We just gotta be careful when we run into stuff like this because we're used to, from chapter 1, saying if the numbers were different, it's automatically no solution. And that's not the case. All right. If I solve that whole thing out and I got 10 is greater than 8, is that no solution? No. What is this?
Good.
This is good. It's a true statement. Do you remember what we said for it?
All real numbers.
All real numbers. This one, I know in chapter 1, we saw sometimes it said all real numbers, sometimes it said infinitely many solutions. And we're like, they mean the same thing. With inequalities, it has to be all real numbers. It has to be all real numbers. Let me tell you why. Okay, when we go over here and we solve this, right, what did we get for an answer? And we solved it.
X less than 4.
X is less than 4. Okay, we got X is less than 4, and let's just, for those of us that might be confused, we get here, we add the 5, 4x less than 16 divided by 4, we get there, right? We don't have to flip the sign because we got a positive 4x here. So we get here. How many solutions are there in this problem?
No.
There's an infinite number of solutions, right? Any number that is less than 4 is a solution. So it's an infinite number of solutions. So that's why we can't use that phrase infinitely many, because there's always infinitely many, right? We use the phrase all real numbers because that means any number is a solution when it ends up like that, right? So we got to be careful on our wording for that, all real numbers. What if I had 10 is greater than 10?
No.
Well, if you got this, what would your answer be? No solution. What if you had this?
Yeah.
Yes.
So it would be
All real numbers.
all real numbers, okay? So it's not enough just to look, are the numbers the same or different? We got to look at the sign as well, okay? So it's a little bit more involved than chapter 1 when we ran into these special cases. We got to be careful. Yeah.
So then what is the equal sign with like the slash?
So that's not equal to. So that would be if we got something like this, and we don't see it very often. This would mean X could be anything except for the number 3,
Actually, one.
right?
Wow.
X could be anything except for the number 3, right? Yeah, we don't see that very often, especially not in equations or inequalities. All right, good deal. So we've got no solution, all real numbers. Tell the person next to you the difference between when it's going to be no solution and all real numbers, please.
All real numbers.
Yeah. All real. Yeah, because it doesn't, it's not. It's like.
All right, here we go. Yeah, I want to talk about something real quick here on this one. When I showed the work, I subtracted 2x from both sides, right? How many of you guys subtracted 2x from both sides?
Me.
For that stuff, great. Did anybody subtract the 6x? We can, right? We can. Why? Raise your hand and tell me, why does this make things maybe a little harder? If I subtract the 6x here, okay?
Now we have another negative number.
Okay, yeah, we got another negative number, and then Cody, what would we have to do with that negative?
Flip the sign.
We'd end up having to flip the sign, right? So there's another place that we could forget to do something that we need to do, and another place we could go wrong. So that's why from the very start, I was trying to get you guys to think about that, trying to make that a positive anytime we're moving the x's. So that when we get here, we don't have to worry about flipping that sign in. Okay, so keep that in mind as we go. All right, let's do a couple more. We'll just do that one. Mark, tell me about it. See what you got?
I got -1 plus 3.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. We distribute. We get here. We got 10W on each side. Those are going to cancel each other out. We're left with negative 2.4 less than or equal to 7. So what is our answer here? All real numbers, right? Because the negative is less than or equal to 7. There you go. All real numbers. Abbreviate it ARN. That's fine. There it is. Good deal. All right. Next thing I want you to do. I would like you to create a multi-step problem. So a problem that we have to do more than one step on. A multi-step problem where the answer is that. Okay. You work with somebody around you, that's fine. I want at least 2 of them. At least 2 multi-step inequalities where this is going to be your answer.
Okay, that works. I did it. -16.
No.
Hey, and if you're done, you already have 2. If you already have 2 or you already have 1, I want you to create one now where we have to flip the sign somewhere.
I already did.
So see if you can come up with one where we're going to have to flip the sign. All right, can we get some volunteers? Write them up. Write them up. Lady, go ahead, write one. Real, Sam, go ahead, write one. Jason, go write one. Sophie, go write one. Drew, go ahead.
We have to solve them. Oh, I got one.
Jason, go write one. Go.
Yeah, I got one. Can I do one?
No, you don't have to solve it. Just show
Can I
it.
do one?
Sure, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. That's what Mrs. Rescue always says. Maybe it's not.
Mine is so smart. Oh my gosh. And why is everyone so complicated? Mine is the least complicated. Why are you solving it?
Hey, so now that you got some up there, I want you to take a look. The ones that you can read from where you're at and see if they work. Think through them, see if they work.
Boom.
Good, you got that. I thought you were gonna make it 8. All right, 8. So we got a lot of good ones up here. This one, depending on how you solve it, you either have it the other way or this way, which is good. Stop talking. Thank you. If we look at this one, let's solve this one. We got add 5 on both sides. That's going to give us x over -2 less than or equal to -8. I've got division. I need to multiply on both sides here. All right. I would flip the side. That's going to give me a 16 there, not 4. Gotta be careful on that. Okay. Gotta be careful on that. Those are good. This one, let's see. We distribute. That's 24x minus 9. 16 minus 15 is 1. So we would add that 9 over. We're going to get 24x greater than or equal to 10. That one's not going to work either. Over here, -16 times 0.25 is going to be a -4. I divide both sides by -4. That's going to give me a +1. That's not going to work. Let's see. That gives me 27 minus the 7 is 20. That one's going to work. That one's going to give us 4. Okay, so just be careful on it. Okay, unless I did something wrong, will I quickly solve them? Gotta be careful on things. Yeah.
I never got to write it.
No? Sorry.
I kind of want to.
Maybe next time. Okay. All right. Hey, last thing. Let's look at a word problem. All right, here's our word problem. 5, please. In a trivia game on your cell phone, you need a mean score of at least 90 points to advance. What scores in the 5th grade game will allow you to advance? You got 1 through 4 here. We want to know in the 5th game, what do we need to be able to advance? Please set up and solve an equation. We got to be able to set up an equation. Have somebody need to set up an equation. Talk about something else before. Hey, we've seen something like this in chapter 1. I told you in chapter 1 that this is the type of question that shows up all the time on standardized tests. What about the mean score, which is the average? It's about how you find the average of something. Right?
No, because you can have
Yeah. It is an inequality. Because we need at least an inequality. So whatever you're doing is fine. It's just instead of an equal sign, it's going to be an inequality. All right, what inequality, what equation can we set up here? What can we set up? James, what can we set up?
I got 95 plus 9, well, interest is 95 plus 91. 77 plus 89 divide by 5 is greater than
Okay, we don't need the parentheses if it's on top, but we can. Yep, that's fine, as long as we write it as that big fraction. Yeah, so this is finding the average, right? It's the mean score. So we add up all 5, including the one we don't know, divided by 5, and we need it to be at least 90. So the least, the smallest it could be is 90. So it could be 90 or anything bigger. So we want to score higher than that. So our average has to be bigger than that 90. Okay. Then to solve it, multiply both sides by the 5, combine your numbers up top, and then subtract, and we're going to get that. What does that end up with here?
98.
98. So is our answer x equals 98?
No, x is greater than
X is greater than or equal to 98. Okay. We fall into this trap of doing all the math right and being excited that we solved it, and then forgetting that it's actually an inequality sign. Okay. Please be careful on that. It's got to be an inequality. We can score more than 98. We just have to score at least 98. Any questions about it? All right, go ahead.